Hello everybody, I just want to do a quick video today. I'm going to do some more videos about this subject soon, but it's about common law and the law of the land. I just want to say a few things about it. Okay, so first of all, we've got the law of the land and we've got the law of the sea. The government is a corporation which works on the law of the sea. It's maritime law. Us humans, we are officially living, therefore law of the land applies to us. But when we're born, we're given a birth certificate, which actually is a death certificate, because it means we are a dead corporate entity. It's a bit confusing if you don't know it at the start, but the birth certificate is there to take us from law of the land to law of the sea, so the government can then put all of these legislations onto us. However, they can only do it with our consent, because that's how their maritime law works. It's by consent. But if we do not give consent and we keep our power under common law, then they cannot do anything. And it's like these COVID legislations. They cannot be law without our consent. And it isn't law, it's legislation. And common law is do no harm, loss, damage to property or self or anything. That's common law, very simple. Legislation, they've got a whole new language. They've got legalese. They've words like must in legalese. You must wear a face covering. It doesn't mean must in their language, it means may. Then you've got things like the policemen will say, do you understand? In their language, it's do you stand under me? It doesn't mean understand. So what you have to do when it comes face to face with a police officer, you have to get them to recite that oath. They swear to the Queen to uphold the law of the land, because the police work for us. They work for the people. We pay the taxes. Okay, so they do not work for the government. That's a fact. That's undisputable. And the police, a lot of them don't know that. So therefore you have to remind them, are you working under oath today? And therefore, if they say yes, you say, well, you have to uphold my fundamental human rights. You have got no authority over me without my consent. And therefore, and if they still don't understand, you're going to have to get to teach them the law a bit. That's why it's really important to know the law, because a lot of the policemen don't know the law, and the majority actually, and 90% of policemen don't know the law. They only know the legislation and the fake law, shall I call it, that they learn in schools and in their training, which is legislation, maritime law. Therefore, they're putting all of these rules onto us and these legislations illegally, and it's actually high treason, which is a punishable life imprisonment under common law. And it's very, very serious crime is putting false rules and arresting people unlawfully under common law. Very, very harsh, the treatment available to the policemen if they actually go through with that and arrest someone. But once you go to the court, I mean, the court is a corporation itself. No one knows that. A court is a corporation. And the word corporation comes from the corpse, because it was a maritime law. They used to throw the corpses onto in the sea, just chuck them. And that's why it's dead at sea. That's why when you go through the dock at the court, the dock comes from the sea. That's where all these words come from. And therefore you have to go into the court and claim that you're a living man, because a maritime law and legislation and the court cannot deal with a living man. Therefore they will keep saying, what is your name, what is your name? And they will make you say Mr. whoever your name is. But that's not your name. Mr. is your legal fiction, your maritime name. Therefore you have to say, no, I'm a living man. They cannot deal with a living man if you've broken the COVID legislation. But if it's common law, you can't. Common law. If you murder someone, that's breaking common law. If you don't wear a mask in a supermarket, that doesn't matter. That's not a law. I always go into a supermarket without a mask on, because I know I stand under common law. Therefore, no one can force me to do anything. And it's very important that this, because if everyone knew this, we would not be in the situation that we are in now. It's very important to learn the law, and I recommend going on commonlaw.com and owning your birth certificate. You can put your details in for free. Own your birth certificate, because once you own your birth certificate, then they cannot do anything to you under these legislations, because you're going to court, then you own your birth certificate, you own your legal fiction. You all have about £6 billion in your bank account also generated with that legal fiction from the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. So in the future we'll have to find that bank account that they're put in our name, because then there'll be no poverty and everything in the world if we all knew that we had about £6 billion in our false name that we have the right to own. Because even under their law, even under their legislation, you have to have full disclosure so the person, you have to know that they have generated a false name for you at birth, and your family has to know, at least one party. But we don't, and sorry, at least three parties: the government, the corporate, and your family need to know. But because the family don't, it goes against their whole all those legislation. So it's by definition it's fraud. So therefore they're committing fraud. So therefore someone gets the right to own that birth certificate, and that'll be you. That'll be you, the rightful owner. I'm going to do another video on this. It's been very quick, a lot of information, so I recommend watching it over and over again to get this information down. Get a pen and then research common law on the common law website, commonlaw.com, and research John Smith on YouTube, and even Santos Bernacci talking about the common law. Thank you.